Reverend Williams, in Genesis, I think the 13th chapter, you would know better than I, there's a statement that God put a rainbow in the clouds. And there's an old black American song which says, when it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. So I wonder, where's the glide rainbow? Where could I take one child and say this is glide, or would I take the whole congregation or the 6,000 meals you serve a day? What's glide?
I recall when I was a child about 8 years old, and in Texas, segregation was rampant, as it was everywhere at that particular time. And I began to have dreams, use my imagination about what I wanted the church to be. And I have 4 other brothers and a sister, and we'd play church sometime. And I always wanted to be the preacher. Okay? So if they let me be the preacher that day, what I'd do is designate where they were to sit and also what color they were. Each a different color. Yes. Because segregation to me in the church was not only sinful, it was evil. And so I said, what do you do about this? And as a child, I began to imagine how I could bring about, of course, an integrated, what we call multiracial now, multicultural church. And that's what Glide, I think, has evolved into. It has become a dream, my imagination. But it's more than my imagination, you see. In my dream, I'm convinced that this is what the church ought to be.
You live in the Spirit, it means that if you really, truly love yourself, you can really, truly love your neighbor. But the problem we face is that we don't love ourselves. Wait a minute, what's that? We don't love ourselves. And we need some love this morning of ourselves so we can love our brothers and sisters as we love ourselves. Now, here's the issue. I'm going to hurry to go and get through with this. Here's the issue. See, I'm convinced that if you live in the Spirit and you love yourself, then you can truly love your neighbor. But you can't love your neighbor until you love yourself. You see, when you live the Spirit, it gets beyond you. It takes you some other place. It takes you some... Let me end by saying it takes you to a place maybe that you've never been before. A place of renewal, of transformation. A place that lifts you up. You see, one thing I decided some time ago, that's why you see me in this today, is that I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different. And I want a church that's different. I don't want no down and out and guilty, awful church that keeps people in sin all the time. I want some joy. I want some people lifted up. I want some recovery. I want some renewal.
May I present to you now the Glides.
You know, we all have so much to be thankful for. When he woke us up this morning and started us on the way, are we blessed? I can't hear you. Are we blessed? You know, he was moving our head. Don't you know God is able? Are we blessed? He gave us legs to walk, a water to crawl, ears to hear. Are we blessed? Are we truly blessed? You know, but there's so many people always complaining. You got your health, some people got their wealth, but they still complaining.
All right.
I won't complain. I'll play.
When I ask a question, I want to know from myself, as your ma, as your sister, as your friend, as a girl down the street who did it or who didn't.
Okay.
What did you, Sunday, what did you bring to Glide Memorial Church?
Being a dope fiend, homeless, with 2 babies on crack and speed, on heroin, alcohol. I was empty, I guess. I was empty, and I was searching for help,
Yes.
you know?
Okay. I love that answer because you helped me to direct us to the question of empty of what?
Of self-esteem of being a woman,
Mhm.
being that mother for my children,
Mhm.
and wanting to be somebody in life, want to be recognized as someone, and not as just a dope fiend.
How, if being a dope fiend was not what you wanted to be, how did you become one?
When I was about 16 years old, by being raped by my stepfathers, being turned out in the streets as a prostitute.
You used the plural, by your stepfathers.
Yeah, my mother was married to one man, and he raped me constantly. And then after she divorced him, the next guy she
How
got
old were you?
I was about 15, 16 years old. But I was raped basically the first time by my uncle when I was younger.
Okay, I need to ask, did she know?
After I told her I was about 16 years old, I told her, and she put me out of her home. She said that I was destroying her marriage. So that's where it led me out into the world of prostitution and dealing with drugs, dealing with people that dealt with drugs. And that's when I got turned on to speed and alcohol, and then heroin and coke. And then I started shooting drugs.
Now, how did you manage with the children? I just need to know. I mean, who fathered the children, and how did you manage?
The father to my 2 youngest children, my 2 oldest boys, their fathers, my oldest son's father is my stepfather. Okay, I had a child by the man after, And then my 2 youngest, when their father's dead, he got killed here in the TL.
I'm sorry, I need to know what the TL...
Tenderloin. He got killed here.
In San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. And
Killed by?
drugs related.
When you came to Glide with all the needs you had, did you have anything to offer? Or did you, I know you had a lot to offer, I don't mean that, But what I mean is, did you think you were bringing anything to Glide?
I brought a lot of love, wanting to give back what was given to me through Daddy Cecil Williams. He gave me a lot of love, a lot of understanding. So now when I talk to these girls here in the groups, I give them love and understanding, a lot of counseling. And they look up to me now as a counselor, dealing with AIDS, dealing with drug abuse, dealing with alcoholic abuse, dealing with being homeless, motherhood. They look at me like a mother, some of them. And I teach them that my past life is not what they need. What they need now to look at me now and try to be something in life.
Okay, now my last question. Where is that courage inside you? Is it behind that skinny little breastbone? Where is it?
Well, I have God with me today.
Thank you.
And he's my higher power. And I just turn it over to him and he tells me what I need to do. And I know he has something he wants me to do in this world. And I just follow his word.
I thank you for that.
I know that I am a child of God. That knowledge liberates me, totally liberates me. It becomes burdensome because I have to admit that everybody else is a child of God. And that's when I see the brute and the batterer and the bigot, when I see the person who would minimize another person's life, try to invent a person, tell the person who she is, who he is, I have the responsibility of remembering that even he, even she, is a child of God, even if he doesn't know it. I have the responsibility of knowing it. Now that's hard. So many times throughout the day, I'm trying all day to be a Christian. Trying to be a Christian is like trying to be a Jew or a Muslim or a Shintoist or Taoist. It is like trying to be a good friend, a good parent. It is no small matter. It is not something you achieve and sit back and say, I got it now. I'm cool. All day long you try, and if you have any courage, in the evening when you settle down and check yourself out, you say, oh, I only blew it 89 times today. All right. That's all right. I'm going to try to make it 87 tomorrow. And 80, I'm going to try.
Thank you.
Harry, too.
Thank you.
You coordinated.
Thank you, my darling. Thanks, darling. Thank you. I love you. Thanks for that.
Okay.
With all the talent you have, and the beauty you have, it's true. What did you bring to Glide? Look who's here, Punchinella, Punchinella. Look who's here, Punchinella, little girl, so I'm Punchinella. Oh, what can you do, Punchinella, Punchinella? What can you do, Punchinella, little girl? I can do, Then you guys have to do it. Now, choose your lover, Punchinella, Punchinella. Choose your lover, Punchinella, little girl, Chanel.
It looked like the sun wasn't going to shine anymore. God put a rainbow in the clouds.
You see that? Is that hot? Okay. Thank you, my darling. I love you for the work. I love you for your heart. Okay, let's go. I love you too. I know that. I got that.
I came up in a church that had fire and hell and damnation and made people feel guilty. And I could never see growth, nor salvation, nor resurrection, no transformation occurring with people. They were the same old folks, you
Full
know,
of hate.
doing the same old thing, exactly, gossiping, hating each other, putting each other down, fighting over whose seat it is in the church, fighting over who's going to be on the board and all that kind of stuff. You know, it bothered me. And the first thing I said we had to do is get guilt out of the church, get shame out of the church, get isolation out of the church, bring community into the church, bring affirmation into the church. Let the church shout and dance and sing and rejoice and bring life to people. I think the critical thing is that so many people are trying to get folks out of the world into heaven. And how are you going to get out of the world into heaven when you haven't lived in the world? You got to do something here now with folks and with society and with the community. I heard today that there are starving people all over the world when we can deal with starvation. I heard today when there are women who have breasts that are dried because there is no milk in those breasts because they don't have adequate food. I heard today because there are politicians and governments who destroy people constantly. It is time for us to realize that we must make choice now. And the basic thing I try to do here is empower people. It is time for us not to shame people, not to send them to hell or to heaven, but to empower so that they can live their lives fully. And my theology says, live your life now fully as you are and embrace the world when you do.
I've had AIDS now for 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years. And I find myself declining physically. The first thing I came down with after my first bout of pneumonia was KS lesions, which are cancerous lesions. I didn't have them anywhere on my body except on my larynx. And I just stopped. I couldn't talk. It was like constantly having a hoarse throat. And I've had that twice and have been treated with radiation.
Tell me about psychologically. Where are you psychologically?
Psychologically, I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. Which is, it makes my life very happy to be as at one with myself. To have somebody that, I don't know how people can go through this without someone with them. Ron is just so supportive and has helped me through every bout of illness that I've had, which I was the one who was having all the illnesses before. Ron was just recently diagnosed. He was HIV positive for years, for 2 years before he had his first AIDS outbreak or disease. And he was always there by me through everything. And it's wonderful to have that in my life where I know he will be there and help me through everything.
And you will be there.
Yes.
And help him through everything.
And my family.
Yes. Now, I have to ask you also, Ron, for the same thing. I need to know, where are you physically and where are you psychologically? Then I'll come back.
Physically, right now, I feel very good, other than, just normal fatigue. I used to really, I had 2 speeds, either, full speed ahead or I was asleep. And now, that's one of the biggest adjustments that I have to make now is just taking my time and, to get through. Emotionally, I feel very good. I feel like I'm dealing with it real well. I actually feel fortunate that I have the time to really face my mortality. Everybody, I think, has to, at some point in time, face their own mortality. And those of us that that feel closer to it seem to really analyze it a little bit more.
You've answered a question which I had to ask, and that is those of us who are aware enough that we are all mortal, that from birth each of us is terminal.
Exactly.
But
you forget it.
Many people do. Yeah. I think that probably maybe poets and jesters and preachers and priests and rabbis and certain grandmas and and good uncles may not forget it. People who sell popcorn, I don't know. But how would you address a person who had AIDS if you knew that tonight was your last night on earth? What would you say?
I think mainly find something in life that you enjoy. Find that centering point in life. Enjoy every day you have left. Things that you haven't wanted to do. Take walks, go to the park, watch the children, and get God in your life too.
Thank you
really
very
important.
much, Dan. Where do you go when your faith trembles on the brink?
I knew you'd ask that question. I knew you'd ask that question. Different places, but one of the first places I start is I do some moaning and groaning, because I believe that prayer means that you cry, that you moan and you groan. It's like some of the Old Testament passages where the people were wailing and crying out to God, to Yahweh, saying, did you leave us? We've been waiting so long. Did you give us up? Did you turn your back on us?
Have you forgotten my name?
Yeah, have you forgotten my name? I go back to Jesus. Jesus, of course, is the source of my life, hopefully. And if you stay close to the source, then it allows you the opportunity to tell the truth and to live the truth. It allows you the opportunity to have compassion, unconditional love. And folks need unconditional love. They need truth. They need to trust, and they need faith. They really need to trust. A lot of folks don't trust nobody because they don't trust themselves. And I trust folks. I'll trust you in a minute. In fact, I'll trust you every second. Even when it goes against me, I still will trust. Because who am I? The only reason I'm here is somebody trusted me, somebody forgave me, somebody held me up, somebody pointed the way for me. I'm here. I had a breakdown when I was a kid. I mean a mental breakdown. Because somebody said I still haven't been healed. But anyway, the important thing that did for me is that it let me know that you never give up
On anybody.
anybody. Don't give up on
Including
nobody,
yourself.
including yourself. You see. So I think the way you encourage people is that you create a trustful relationship with people. You create a relationship by which they come to understand that you're not going to codepend them. You're not going to just let them do you in, but you're not going to also let them turn you against them. You're going to be with them.
When I was little, my grandmother's mom, and she used to make me go to church with her, and I think that's what made me push away, because it was something she made me do. And then time went by, and I tried going, because I'm Catholic, I tried going to the Catholic church, and everyone just kept looking at me funny. And it was looking like,
Who is this?
yeah, and what's he got on, coming to church looking like that, I was like, and I just got up and I left, and then I never went back to church again. until I came to Glide.
How did you happen to come to Glide?
Well, because when I'm from Valencia Gardens, housing projects, and they had did a march there, and that's when I had met Cecil. And he opened up some doors for me.
Cecil?
Yes, he did. And that's when I started working with him. And I came to church here. And it felt real good because I felt accepted. And it was nice because it didn't matter whether the people sitting next to me on this side was rich and the people sitting on to me on this side was poor. Nobody was better than no one. And there was no it wasn't really ceremony, it was celebration.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. I was like, celebrate what? And once you get to going, you understand you're celebrating life. Yeah, and it makes you feel good. And it helps give you strength to continue on the right path.
That's it.
But when I first started doing good, I was doing good because of my baby's mother. I wanted to make her happy. And once I started doing it for her, I started feeling good about myself and started doing it for myself, but it was just strange because the person that I started doing all these good things for and helped build me up was a person that helped make me fall. And it's like when I felt like I was falling real hard and quick.
Yeah.
I felt really disappointed because Cecil believed in me.
That's right.
And I felt I was letting him down.
Cecil still believes in you. Cecil still believes in you, man. Still.
It's just hard.
It's hard now. No question about this. I'm not even, I wouldn't try to downplay it and say this is going to be easy. This is hard. But you will grow and come into a new quality and quantity of faith if you can let go and let God. That's what glide means to say.
How do you do that when it's like that's your only family?
I know, but
when you've been on your own since 13 years old, had your own apartment, because your father kicked you out and made you live with your mother. And then your mother kicked you out at 13, just a little kid. And then it's like, and you get with somebody and you've been together 6 years and had to have a little kid, how do you just let go? I mean, that's your only family.
Yeah, I understand. It seems so. But wait now. The truth is a stubborn fact. The Chinese say the only way out of something is all the way through it. You got to go through it, and there's no shortcut. But you can come through. Hold on. Hold on to faith. Put your faith in God. That's what you have to do, Alex. Go inside yourself, man. Go inside. Try to pray. If you don't pray in words, that's all right. Just wish, desire, long, yearn. Say to God, I'm yearning, I'm hurting. And then wait. Just wait.
Reverend Williams was talking about love, and I totally agree that you can't love anybody if you don't love yourself. There's an African saying which says, be careful when a naked person offers you a dress. That's it. So if you're careful about believing when a person who doesn't love himself or herself says, I love you, you say, wait, just hold on. Well, by the same token, I am cautious when I see a person who doesn't lie. When a person who tells me, I'm serious, and acts as if he's put airplane glue on the back of his hand and stuck it to his forehead. That person didn't come here to stay. Really, really, to stay and make a difference. She didn't come to stay. He didn't. Because every moment will offer you every reason to moan and bemoan. From the moment you awaken and say, ooh, what is this? Oh, God. You know. Turn and look at somebody you expected a smile from, and they say, Turn on the television, you say, oh, my Lord, is this happening? Walk out the door, you can't find the car, it's missing. Get to the job and your desk has been cleaned out. Every moment you get a chance, you should laugh. Laugh. That's it. That's it. Here's a piece I've written called 7 Women's Blessed Assurance. One woman says, one thing about me, I'm little and low. I find me a man wherever I go. Second woman said, they call me string bean, I'm so tall. Men see me, they're ready to fall. Third woman says, I'm young as morning. I'm fresh as dew. Everybody wants me. Look at you. Fourth woman said, I'm fat as butter. I'm sweet as cake. Men start to tremble every time I shake. The sixth woman said, when I passed 40, I dropped pretense, 'cause men like women who got some sense. But this is my favorite for obvious reasons. 55 is perfect. So is 59, 'cause every man needs to rest sometime.
My miracle, the miracle of me, is to have learned trust. I had killed my faith. I had attempted to murder God. Is that presumptuous? That is so. And I said, that is a crazy thing. But you see, I realized God was here all the time. God was with me all the time. And my grandmother who said, girl, and she didn't say this in English, she said in Japanese, which I don't understand, but I understood her. She said, your greatest accomplishment on earth would be able to say to them, it's not so. They tell you that you are weak, and you say, it's not so.
Okay.
They tell you that you are deserving of nothing, and you say, that is not so. They tell you that you are passive, and that you should keep your mouth shut, and that you are unworthy, and you show them that it is not so. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Just one in one of your poems, your poems, which I use quite often, Crazy Alice. I'm stunned by your ability not to become Crazy Alice. How can you say to yourself, I am not Crazy Alice, but I am also Crazy Alice.
Yes.
I don't have to deny her.
Right.
But I don't have to act crazy.
Right.
How can you avoid acting crazy after all the things you've had happen to you?
I thought I acted crazy. I mean,
Nah. Or maybe at some time.
Yes, I think that the poetry helps me not enact it, but to pour it on the page is a means that I don't have to act it. The dance, the choreography helps me to put it in form, to be able to say, I am Crazy Alice also, but I can tell her story in a more coherent manner because she's taught me. She suffered for me. She suffered for me.
Paid for it.
Yes,
Paid. Paid for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Mother, I wanted you to protect me. You turned your head. I listened for your voice. Mother, you called me seductress when my breasts grew. Did you fear the woman growing in my body? I wanted you to stop him when his hands like crowbars spread my thighs. You are in the garden, back turned, pruning your flowers. He reaches into my pants and says, if I tell, you will die, Mother. I sever my feelings from my body and become a cut stem, shedding silent rose petals shaped like tears. Mother, in the garden of infinite grief, you turn your head.
If we know enough to be faithful, full of faith, or if we know nothing, each one of us is edge walking all the time. Every minute, every second, we need somebody to put up their hands on us. Say, come on back, honey. Come on back, it's all right. I've been there too. That's all right. Come on back now. Come on in. It's all right. So the grace which has been offered to each of us needs to be known about. Because, folks, our country and the world has never been in such stress ever before. Ever before. If you look at history, we have never, not everybody. See, there was a time when blacks were enslaved. Well, but a whole lot of whites got on okay. There was a time when the Native Americans were killed, but a whole lot of so-and-so were doing all right. Just now, nobody's doing okay. Nobody is safe anywhere. So we desperately need faith. Somebody to put their hands on us and say, I love you, okay? I don't like what you're doing, but I sure love your bones. That's what we need. And so if in this program we're able to say something
and say, "This is America," somebody might be turned around.
When I look at the New Testament, I often see passages where Jesus heals. And in every story there, when Jesus heals, he always says to the person that has been healed, "Your faith has healed you." It's your faith that's healed you. Your faith that's healed you. You see, the important thing is faith means to me always being open to the possibility that something can happen that has never happened before. Faith means that there is always a source, however, that you can go to that's there to give you what my grandmother used to call a backbone. Somebody used to say, "Can I lift this up?" She said, boy, you ain't got no backbone. You ain't got no backbone. Go and get some backbone to you, you know." And you'd lift it up, of course. I think the critical thing is that faith says to me, you've got the strength, now use it. You got to be courageous, now live it. You gotta take a chance, now take a chance. You see, some way, somehow, something has to happen that will tell us all about ourselves, the truth about us, and not some pretense, not some put on. And so when you begin to trust, when you have a trustful relationship, it means that you not only have it with people, but you have it with the man, with Jesus.